those 5 guys.
Yeah. Hi, I'm alive.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. Welcome.
Oh, yeah, somebody.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Couple minutes here. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Hopefully you can hear. Everything's good.
Oops, hug.
Yeah. You're a little bit behind there, sweetheart.
Yeah, it's always behind. That's the way it is. You can't reach the edge to go. It's that way for everybody. We're all a little bit behind.
Okay, wait just a few more minutes and then we'll start. Eyes are clearing up a little bit. I think it was in the pool. Man, oh man, oh man. Dun, da, 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 da. Okay, let's get started.
Tell us who you are.
Hallelujah. Thank you for tuning in. We are going to get started here, and others will probably be joining in, or this will be recorded and they can watch it later. That's one good thing about YouTube. So, blessings, and pray everything is well. And hallelujah. I am going to read from a Psalms tonight. Psalms. Okay, let's just read. Psalms 46. How's that? To the chief musician for the sons of Korah, a song upon Alamot. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore we will not be awed, though the earth be changed, and though the mountains are carried into the midst of the sea, though its waters roar in our trouble, though the mountains shake before its majesty. Selah. There is a river, the streams of which will make glad the city of God, the holy dwelling place of the Most High. God is in its midst, it will not be moved. God will help at the approach of morning. The nations raged, the kingdoms were moved. He uttered his voice, the earth melted. The Lord host is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Come, behold the works of the Lord, what desolation he has made in the earth. He makes wars to cease to the end of the earth. He breaks the bow, cuts the spear asunder. He burns the chariots in the fire. Be still and know that I am God. I have been exalted among the nations. I shall be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Okay, let us pray. Father, thank you for this day. This is the day that you have made, and we will rejoice in it. Thank you, God. You are the Lord of hosts, Zavaot. You are the God of Jacob. You are our refuge. Even today, Father, you are our refuge. No matter what's going on in the world around us, you are our hope, and you are the God of Jacob, and you are our refuge. We give you thanks. We just pray that you'd pour out your spirit tonight and bless us as we look at the Torah readings. 3 chapters, not a long Torah reading, but Father, there is much depth in it. Oh Lord, help us to see what you want us to see this evening. We give you thanks in Yeshua's name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Okay, so I just read from Psalms 46. It says, to the chief musicians for the sons of Korah. Okay, tonight we have Korah's rebellion. Okay, Korah's rebellion. And I say that because people don't realize that some of the children, maybe not some of them, maybe most of them, maybe all of them, we don't just know exactly, but the sons of Korah did not join in the rebellion. They lived on, and their children, and they came and they wrote the Psalms 42 through 49. They wrote Psalms 42 through 49. Okay? And so I read from Psalms 46 tonight to prove to you that that is true. The sons of Korah lived. Okay? So we have the rebellion. All right? Okay. Before we get started, Tammuz.
Psalms 42 through 49.
Yep, Psalms 42 through 49 were written by the sons of Korah, the descendants of Korah. So his sons did not join him in the rebellion. All right. That's
They
some
were never
information.
smart not to do that.
So we have entered the month of Tammuz. Tammuz. Okay, that happened, I think, Monday night. We started the new month of Tammuz. Well, what happened? Well, the 9th of Tammuz, the walls of Jerusalem were breached. Okay, on the 9th.
By King Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah, by King Nebuchadnezzar. They celebrate from the 9th to the 30th. Well, actually, they changed the dates. I don't know why they do this, why the rabbis do this. They change the dates. But they have 3 months, or 3 weeks, I'm sorry, of sorrow. They call them the 3 weeks of sorrow because the walls were breached, and then the end of those 3 weeks is when the temple was attacked and destroyed. So those 3 weeks are very important. Just 21 days. Okay. Where else do we see someone praying for 21 days? Wasn't it Daniel?
Yes.
Daniel prayed for 21 days.
Yep.
If they would have prayed for 21 days, repented and prayed for 21 days, just a few days, 21 days, okay? Just a few days. That's not many. If they would have.
They were already pretty much starving by then because there had been siege
Right.
around there from
Correct.
like more than 6 months before that.
There was a siege around them,
They had
okay?
laid siege around the city.
They had been laid siege. But at any point, if they would have repented in those 21 days, if they would have done like Daniel had done, okay, God would have saved the city, even if the walls were breached. Okay. So 3 weeks of sorrow. Okay. One other interesting fact about Korah. Samuel came out of Korah. So,
yeah, that's pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome. So not all is lost. You remember God can take somebody, and I don't know why this is. You can have a very sinful man, and God can raise up righteous sons. Or you can have a righteous man, and the sons will turn out wicked. I don't know why that is. You can teach them. For instance, Samuel's sons were not like him, even though they were judging. Eli was a righteous man, but his sons were bad. So look at David, okay? King David. So a few things there about Korah's rebellion. You have to remember now what's happened, okay? Let's back up to last week. Okay, up to this point, they have the Torah. They have the furnishings built. They have the tabernacle. Everything's good to go. Okay? They have a few things along the way. God isn't pleased at them. But the big thing happened last week, right? Remember the 10 leaders went up to spy. They come back. They give a bad report. They don't trust in the Lord. And the Lord passes judgment on them. The Lord says they're not going to be allowed to go into the land for 40 years. So they try to go in. They try to go up and attack. I forget which tribe it was, but then they get pushed back. So here they are now. They haven't learned their lesson, and they're not going to learn their lesson. They're going to keep on rebellion against God. So the sentence was passed last week. God says for every day that you were up in the promised land, now and you came back and gave an evil report, every day will be a year. So now 40 years. Now, there's something else you got to think about for a minute. Korah and these leaders here, Dathan and Abiram, they are Moses' age. These guys are 80 and 90 years old. They could be older. You understand? They could be pushing 100. And so now they know they're not going up into the promised land. They're going to die in a desert because the Lord gave us that sentence last week. Okay? So there's probably a little bit of unhappiness here. Okay? So let's start reading here. They're not going to go up into the promised land. Some of these men are 60, 70, 80, could even be 90 years old. Okay? And so everybody from 20 years on up, they're going to die in the desert. Okay, so here we go. Chapter 16 of Numbers, verse 1. Now Korah, the son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, and Dathan and Abram, the sons of Eliab, and On, the sons of Pelah, sons of Reuben, took courage, and they rose up in front of Moses with a certain of the children of Israel. 250 princes of congregations, of the congregation. 250 princesses of the congregation. Can you imagine from the tribe of Reuben, all these leaders, and for Korah and some of the Levites, some of the leaders of the Levites there? Okay. 250 of them. Amazing. This is the leadership. Okay. And they gathered themselves together against Moshe and against Aaron and said to them, you take too much upon yourselves, seeing the entire congregation is holy, every one of them, and the Lord is among them. That is a true statement, because that's what God said. Okay. All right. Exodus 19:6, they are a holy nation. They are supposed to not mix with the other nations. God has called them out. He has separated them. That is true with us today. As believers, we are a holy people, a holy priesthood. We've covered that verse many times in Peter. We are a holy priesthood. This is true with us. Okay? We are a holy people. All right? Why do you lift yourself up above the congregation of the Lord? And when Moses heard this, verse 4, he fell upon his face, and he spoke to Korah and to the whole company, saying, tomorrow the Lord will show who are his, and who is holy, and who will cause him to come near to him. Even him who he has chosen will he cause to come near to him. Okay. Verse 6, do this. Take fire pans, Korah and all his company, and put fire in them and put incense in them before the Lord tomorrow. And it will be that the man who the Lord does choose, he will be holy. You take too much upon yourself, you sons of Levi. Okay. So, where before have we seen this? This fire pan and incense. Remember Aaron's two sons?
Yes.
Okay, it didn't go well for them. I sense you don't even have to read on. If you know history, you don't have to read on much farther to even know the outcome here. All right? Something is not going to turn out well here. Okay? So, let's read on a little more. And Moses said to Korah, listen now, you sons of Levi, verse 9, it is but small thing to you that God of Israel has separated you from the congregation of Israel to bring you near to himself to do the service of the tabernacle of the Lord and to stand before the congregation to minister to them. Okay. What was Korah's responsibility? He's a Levite. Okay, now remember, people get the Levites and the priesthood mixed up. Okay, the Levites are not priests, even though the priests come out of Aaron. All right.
You know, Aaron came out of the Levites.
Yeah, even though Aaron came out of the Levites. So you have Aaron and his sons are the priests. They're the ones doing the sacrifices. They are the ones that are trimming the lamps. They are the one offering up the grain offerings. The high priest goes into the Holy of Holies. They're the ones that actually do the altar and do the incense, do the showbread. The Levites are the ones that help them, meaning they are like their servants to them. Okay? In all reality, they're servants to the Lord. And so they help them with carrying, taking care of the tabernacle, of the temple. They bring the water, the wood. They help, I would imagine they help bring the animals in. They help take out the animals. They help whatever is needed to be done in the tabernacle, to wash the floor down, to keep it clean. They probably, I would assume they are like the janitors. They just keep everything up with it.
Yeah, custodians.
They're like the custodians. Okay. So another thing about Korah. Korah was actually responsible for carrying the ark. All right. He was responsible for carrying the ark. Let's see. I have it written down here.
There's a chapter where it tells.
So Korah is actually had a very important, prestigious job, if you want to say prestigious. He carried the ark, the altar, the vessels, the table of showbread. So Korah was responsible for carrying these spiritual furnishings and furniture of the tabernacle. Okay, you can't get any higher than carrying the ark.
Yeah, you can see it in Numbers chapter 4.
Number 4, okay?
If you look in 16
Numbers
verse
4.
1, it says he's son of Ishar, son of Kohath, and the Kohathites, or how are you supposed to say it in Hebrew? In chapter 4, it tells what their assignment is.
Chapter 4 of Numbers. So he was very responsible. All right. So let's read down a little bit more. Verse 10, and he has brought you near to him, and all your brothers, the sons of Levi, with you, and seek the priesthood also, for which cause you and all your company are gathered together. Here's a key verse. Okay. And I got the One New Man Bible tonight. I'm just reading from that. All right. Okay. Verse 10, and he has brought you near to him, all your brothers, the son of Levi, with you, and seek the priesthood also. So the Lord has already brought him near to him. The Lord has assigned him, and what he's doing is of the utmost importance. Okay? Carrying the ark is not no small deal.
Yeah.
But yet, that's not good enough for Korah. Okay? You can see, all right, why do vice presidents run for president? You know, why do vice presidents run for president? It's not good enough to be vice president. It's not good enough to serve on a cabinet. See, power and greed and money. Korah was no poor person. Korah was very wealthy. Okay.
Plus, he was a first cousin, I think.
Yes.
To
Yes,
Aaron.
he was. He was the first cousin of Aaron and Moshe.
Yeah.
All right. So Korah is not no small cheese here. All right. But just like today, in modern world, power, it's not good enough to be the vice president. You have to be president. It's not good enough to be assistant prime minister. You have to be prime minister. So, anyways, so he wants to be in the priesthood also. For which cause, verse 11, all your company are gathered together against the Lord. Verse 11 is very important. That scripture there, for which cause you and all your company are gathered together against the Lord, and what Aaron is, and what that you murmur against him. So not only have they murmuring, now get this, not only are they murmuring against Moses, not only are they complaining against Moses, now they're complaining against Aaron. So they don't just want Moses' job, they want Aaron's job. So, anyways. And Moses sent to call Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and they said, we will not come up. Is it a small thing that you have brought us up out of the land that flows with milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness, that you make yourself altogether a prince over us? Okay. I don't understand where they get that from, because it's been God all along who has led them out of Egypt. It's been God all along that's brought them this far. It was God that pronounced them judgment on them, that they have to die in the wilderness because of their unbelief. But yet, they continue to blame Moses and now Aaron. Okay. Verse 13, is it a small thing that you have brought us up out of the land of that flows with milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness? Wait a minute here. Wait a minute. Is it a small thing that you have brought us up out of a land that flows with milk and honey? Okay. All right. They're claiming that Egypt was a land flowing of milk and honey. So you got people that are distorted. Okay. You got people that are saying back slavery is milk and honey. And you got what the Lord is saying, the land that you rejected that I'm bringing you into and going to bless you in is the land flowing with milk and honey. Okay? So, just like today, this is just like today, what's happening in America. You couldn't make this stuff up. If I want to bring this to us and apply it to us today, you got people that don't want Trump. You got people that don't want the Constitution. You got people that think freedom in America is racism. Freedom of in the Constitution is somehow white privilege. The Constitution is white privilege. They would rather have socialism. They would rather have communism. They would rather have Marxism. Go figure. Okay? What's going on today? You can't make this stuff up. But see, the spirit of the rebellion is here in America. You have this same type of spirit that's in Korah, that's in some of the people in America today. Same thing. Same thing. Okay? So anyways, these two fellows, they wouldn't meet with Moses. They're not going to meet with him. Verse 14, wherever you have not brought us into the land that flows with milk and honey, or given us inheritance of fields and vineyards, will you put out the eyes of these men? We will not come up. So they're being very rebellious, very stubborn. And by the way, rebellion is a form of witchcraft. It's considered in the Torah, rebellion is a form of witchcraft. Okay? So, all right.
Oh, you should have it. There's a Bible verse that actually says that.
I don't have that Bible verse. I just know that there is one. Okay? I can't remember all the Bible verses in the Bible. I just don't remember that one. Sorry. Okay, 16:15. And Moses was very angry and said to the Lord, do not respect their offerings. I have not taken one donkey from them, neither have I hurt one of them. And Moses said to Korah, you and all your company be before the Lord, you and they and Aaron tomorrow, and every man take his fire pan and put incense in it, and every man bring his fire pan before the Lord, 250 fire pans, you also and Aaron, each of his fire pan. And each man took his fire pan and put fire in it and laid incense in it and stood in the door of the tent of meetings with Moses and Aaron. And Korah gathered the entire congregation against them as the door of tent of meetings, and the glory of the Lord appeared to the whole congregation. Okay. So Moses becomes angry. He sure is a very humble man, because I would have got angry a long time ago with these people. But you know, there is such thing as a righteous anger. And these people today that are trying to tear down the Constitution, they're trying to change America, they're tearing down all of our statues. We also can pray, Lord, do not respect any of their offerings. And we know that they don't even, most of them are heathens. Most of them don't believe in the Lord. But Lord, don't respect what their wishes and what they're trying to do. You know, there's ways of praying. There's righteous prayers. And so, what Ed? Bad men prevail when good men sit by and do nothing. And I know most Americans now feel helpless because we're waiting for the government to act. But you know, we don't have to feel helpless. All right. We can do our part. We can pray. All right. We can pray. Okay. So anyways, they fill their fire pans up. All right. And they bring their fire pans before the Lord. And the ground opens up underneath them and swallows them up, and they fall down to hell, basically, to Sheol. And them and their belongings. Okay? So their children were saved, and their wives were saved, but they themselves were swallowed up. Now, can you imagine 124 leaders? So
their children and wives were saved?
Their children and wives are saved.
How do you get that?
Because we just read the children of Korah.
Well, his sons didn't stand next to him.
Correct.
But the other guys,
I said his children and wives did not get swallowed up.
No, but the other guys' wives and children stood right with them. It says, together with their wives, their children, their little ones.
Okay.
In verse 27, I mean.
Only Korah and his followers died. The women and children survived. Verse 35. Okay, let's go to verse 35. And fire came out from the Lord and consumed the 250 men who offered incense.
That's the 250 men.
Right, but their children survived.
Well, that's just the 250 men. That's not Korah and Dothan.
In Numbers
and
26:11. Numbers 26:11.
I'm talking about Korah.
Yes, I know who you're
and
talking about.
those
Number
other two
26:11.
guys. They had their wives and children with them.
Number 26:11. Okay. All right. Number 26:11. But the children of Korah did not die.
Right, but Dothan and the other guy,
Right.
theirs did. There are no descendants of them.
Descendants didn't die.
I thought you were talking about all the guys there.
So, anyways, back where we were at.
It says in verse 32, the earth opened up its mouth and swallowed them up along with their households, everyone who belonged to Korah and all their goods, so that they belonged to them, so that all belonged to them went down into Sheol.
The earth opened up its mouth and swallowed them up, their houses, all the men that were for Korah and all their goods, they and all that was theirs went down alive in the pit of earth.
Mine says all their households.
Well, mine doesn't read that way.
32.
Mine doesn't read that way.
Oh.
Okay, we have different versions again of the scriptures.
But the other two guys, Dothan and Abiram, they have no descendants at all.
Okay, so their houses.
And listen, it says right here, and together in verse 27, Abiram and Dothan came out and stood at the entrance of their tents together with their wives, their children, and their little ones. And they have no descendants in Chronicles.
Okay, then.
And it says everything that belonged to them went down. I just think Korah's sons were older and smarter, and they stayed away. That's what I had always thought after studying it out.
So, anyways, I'm just looking at that. All right, I'm just looking what this version says.
Okay.
And let's see.
Okay, verse
16.
Where it says their wives and their little ones stood with them.
Then they moved away from around the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abram. And Dathan and Abram came out and stood at the door of their tents with their wives and their sons and their little children. Okay.
Yeah,
but
see?
If the earth opens its mouth and swallowed them up with all that belongs to them, and they go down alive into Sheol, then you shall know that these are. And in speaking, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up with their households, with all the men with Korah with all their goods. Okay.
Yeah, I'll look it up here.
So, anyways, looking it up. All I know is Korah's descendants did not die. Okay, I know that.
At least not all of his.
I know that. Okay, so we're moving on. All right. So, all right. So what do they do with the fire pans? Here's the neat thing, I think. You go down, okay, verse 36. And Adonai said to Moshe, saying, say to Eleazar, this is chapter 16 yet, son of Aaron the priest, to pick up the fire holders out of the blaze, for they are holy, and scatter the fire some distance away. The fire holders of these men who sinned against their own lives, let them be made into beaten plates as covering for the holy place, because they brought them before Adonai, therefore they are holy, and let them become a sign to the children of Israel. And Eleazar the priest took the bronze fire holders which they were burned up, had brought, and they were beaten out as a covering of the slaughter place. Okay. A remembrance to the children of Israel that no stranger who is not of seed of Aaron should come near to offer incense before Adonai, like Korah and his company, as Adonai has said to Moshe. Okay, offer incense. Okay, we know that Aaron's two sons before offered strange incense. So we have to be careful here. All right. Okay, so verse 41. Here we go again. But all the congregation of the children of Israel grumbled against Moshe and against Aaron on the next day, saying, You have killed the people of Adonai. It's great. The very next morning they wake up and they blame Aaron, even though they blame Aaron and Moses, even though they saw the earth would open up and the Lord did it. Okay.
Crazy.
It's crazy what happens. And we can't fathom that. But even in our own day, I can't fathom that there are parents, godly parents out there that have children that were raised godly, but yet now are marching with the gay pride and marching with the transgenders and have jumped on all these different bandwagons and aren't following the Lord. So when we look back and look at this, we're not far from that. Today we're not far from that. So anyways, moving on. So they complain again, and the Lord is angry at them, and he sends a plague. And so verse 47, and Aaron took it and ran in the midst of the assembly and saw that the plague had been among the people, and laid on the incense and made atonement for the people, and stood between the dead and the living, and the plague was stopped. Okay? Stood between the dead and living and stopped the plague. Something very interesting here. Okay? What atones sin? You know what atones sin? It takes blood to atone sin, right?
Yes.
Well,
I know he says it atones, yeah.
But here we just have incense.
No, he's saying that their death atoned for it, right?
And he laid on the incense and made atonement for the people.
Oh, you mean for the plague?
Yeah, for the plague. Okay. All right. So he made atonement for. That I find that interesting. And those who died in the plague were 14,700, besides those who died on the account of Korah. Then Aaron returned at the door of the tent appointments, for the plague had stopped. Okay, so now chapter 17 gets into God is going to now settle this once and for all. Who's leader of what here? So they gather their 12 rods or staffs of the children of all the leadership of Israel, including Aaron's. So they have 12 of them. They take them inside, okay, and those rods have buds, okay. The rods have different, they have like engraved on them, what would it be?
Engraved on them?
Yeah, they're engraved on them.
You mean almonds?
Almonds are
His budded almond.
Yeah, his budded almond. So almond tree or an almond, would it be a tree or a plant or whatever, would be engraved on these. See, these weren't just, sometimes we have in our mind as kids that these are just little sticks, or they're these rods that these leaders have are backwoodsman staffs and all this other stuff. No, these were fancy, very beautiful looking staffs or rods because they are an emblem of their leadership. So they were very wealthy. Things were made out of gold and silver. And so they put these in the tent of meetings. They bring them all out the next day, and Aaron's is budded. Okay? So God puts that to rest. Who the leader is, who the high priest is, and who are the priests. All right?
And it's so amazing because it didn't just bud. It budded and then it bore almonds.
Then it bore almonds. So
all in one night.
So that's what happened in chapter 17.
Ripe almonds, no less. It says ripe in my Bible.
Then we get into the last chapter here, verse 18. Now, verse 18. Okay, so we have people who, Korah and other leaders that want to be top dog. They're only second in command, but they want to be top dog. And so there's a plague. Aaron and Moses stop it. God shows who the leaders are, and then God is going to show you why you don't really want to be a leader. Because God is going to hold you to a high responsibility. And plus, you got to rely on God. Okay? So chapter 18, verse 1, and Adonai said to Aaron, you and your sons and your father's house with you are to bear the crookedness against the holy place, and you and your sons with you are to bear the crookedness against your priesthood. So so basically,
it says responsibility.
Basically, yep. This in here says iniquity or sin. Okay.
Oh, wow. I'll have to look at that.
Okay, she's got that other version, always arguing against me. She got that lesser version. I don't know where that came from. She's always arguing against me.
That does say iniquity. Oh my word.
Yes,
Why
iniquity.
does it say responsibility?
I told her all. So, anyways, we have the standard of the priesthood. Okay. So they are going to be responsible for their sin and their sin of the sanctuary. Whatever goes on in the sanctuary, they're going to be held responsible for. All right. So, verse 3, and they will keep your charge in charge of the entire tabernacle, only they will not come near the vessel of the sanctuary and altar, so neither they nor you would also die. And they would be joined to you and keep the charge of the tent of testimony for all the service of the tabernacle. And a stranger will not come near you, and you will keep the charge of the holy place in charge of the altar, so there will no longer be wrath upon the children of Israel. And I am, behold, I have taken your brothers, the Levites, from among the children of Israel. They are given to you as a gift for the Lord to do the service of the tent of meetings. Therefore, you and your sons, you will keep your priest's office for everything of the altar and within the veil, and you will serve. I've given your priest office to you as a service of gift, and the stranger that comes near you will be put to death. Okay, so basically, the priests are responsible and are going to be held accountable for the service and the things that go on in the tabernacle. The Levites are their servants. The Levites are supposed to bring the water in. They bring the wood in. They take out the ashes. But the performance of the service is of the priesthood. So what about the priesthood now? Verse 8 of 18, the Lord spoke to Aaron, behold, I have given you charge of my heave offerings, of all the holy things of the children of Israel, I have given them to you and to your sons by reason of the anointing, by ordinance forever. This will be yours of the most holy thing, reserved from the fire, every offering of theirs, every grain offering of theirs, every sin offering of theirs, and every guilt offerings of theirs, which they will render to me, will be most holy for you and for your sons, and you will eat it in the most holy place. Every male will eat it. It will be holy to you. And this is yours, the heave offering of the gift, with all the wave offerings of the children of Israel. I've given them to you and to your sons and to your daughters with you by a statute forever. Everyone that is clean in your house will eat of it. So there are certain things the priests were supposed to eat in the priesthood, and there were certain things that they could take home and feed their families. All right. Okay. Verse 12, and all the best of the oil, all the best of the wine, of the wheat, the first fruits of those which they were offered to the Lord, I have given to them to you. And whatever is ripe in the land which they will bring to the Lord will be yours. Everyone that is clean in your house will eat of it. Everything devoted to Israel will be yours. Everything that opens the womb of its flesh, which they bring to the Lord, whether it's of man or beast, will be yours. Nevertheless, the firstborn of man you will surely redeem. In the firstlings of the unclean beasts you will redeem. And those that are to be redeemed from a month old you will redeem according to your estimation, for the money of 5 shekels after the shekel of the sanctuary, which is 20 gerahs. But the first thing of an ox, or the first thing of sheep, or the first thing of a goat, you will not redeem. They are holy. You will sprinkle their blood on the altar, and will burn their fat for an offering made by fire, for a sweet savor to the Lord. And their flesh will be yours, as the wave breast and right shoulder are yours. I have given to you and your sons and your daughters with all of you heave offerings of the holy things, which the children of Israel offer to the Lord by statute forever. It is a covenant of salt. This is a major covenant. Forever before the Lord, to you and to your seed, covenant. All right. This is a major covenant. There is added significance because salt is a preservative, referring to the permanence of this covenant. This is a given covenant, therefore it is not conditional. This is not a conditional covenant. All right. Now, we have to understand the difference.
Footnote you were reading?
Yes. That is okay. Now I must again reiterate the importance that the priest and the Levites are different. Okay. So people get this mixed up. This is not the Levites that we're going to be talking about here in a minute. This is for the priesthood. And the Lord, verse 20, chapter 18, and the Lord spoke to Aaron, you will have no inheritance in their land, nor will you have any part among them. I'm your part and your inheritance among the children of Israel. And behold, I have given the children of Levi all the tithe in Israel for an inheritance, for their service, which they serve, the service of the tent of meetings. Nor many of the children of Israel from now on come near the tent of meetings, lest they bear sin and die. Okay, but the Levites will do the service of the tent of meeting, and they will bear their iniquity. It will be a statute forever throughout your generation, that among the children of Israel, Levites have no inheritance. But the tithes of the children of Israel, which they offer as a heave offering to the Lord, I have given the Levites to inherit. Therefore I've said to them, among the children of Israel, they will have no inheritance. Okay, so
mine does say you'll bear the responsibility for the offenses.
Right.
So it does use the word offense, I guess, for the avon, the iniquity. And there it says they shall bear responsibility for their own offenses, the Levites.
So
at least it's not ignoring the avon word.
No. So the priesthood could not own any land. The priesthood could not own any land, okay? Now we know the Levites had cities. The Levites were sent out to different parts of Israel, once they get into the promised land, we know they're sent out. They do have houses in these cities, and they do have fields around these cities.
Yeah, you just have to read Leviticus 25 and
Yeah. Leviticus 25. And what else?
Numbers 35.
And Numbers 35.
Verses
So
2, 4, and 8 talks about the cities of the Levites.
the cities of the Levites. So they do have cities, they do have some land, but the priests do not. Okay. John the Baptist's parents, they did not own any house because he was a priest. He did not own any house. He did not own any land. All right. So,
Well, Aaron had a tent.
well, yeah, of course, Aaron had a tent, but they weren't supposed to gather wealth because God was their provider. The priests, okay. Let's see. Let me read. The ministers, pastors are responsible that no iniquity or intentional sin takes place in or about the holy place. There is a burden to know and to do what is right, to hold to a very high standard, a higher standard than secular organizations. Okay. Ministers are to live by faith, not building up worldly wealth. And that is very true today. Ministers,
Well, you are certainly obeying that.
Ministers are not to be building up worldly wealth. So that is true. We are supposed to live by faith, and our lives are supposed to be examples of that. So, any thoughts or questions?
I have a question back on verse.
I have a RV. Is that like a tent?
Yeah.
I own an RV. I don't own a house. I don't.
Is it verse 15? You said unclean animals. It really doesn't say unclean, does it?
Verse 15 of what? 17?
18.
18. Maybe I read it so fast. I'm looking at it. Everything that opens the womb and all flesh, which they bring to the Lord, whether it's a man or beast, will be yours. Nevertheless, the firstborn of man you will surely redeem, and the firstlings of unclean beasts you will redeem.
Redeem on beasts? Like, I guess.
Firstlings of unclean beast.
What unclean beasts? Surely
will be redeemed.
Pigs. What? Horses, maybe?
The
camels?
redemption money belongs to the priest.
Maybe it's horses and camels?
It could be horses and camels. Okay, I'll read out of this one. Everything opening the womb of all flesh, which they bring to Adonai, whether man or beast, is yours. But to ransom, you shall ransom the firstborn of man, and the firstborn of the unclean beast you ransom. Doesn't yours say unclean?
Yeah, I guess it does. I just can't believe it says unclean.
Well, their unclean animals had to be ransomed.
But I didn't know they would have. They don't eat unclean beasts, I guess.
But they use them.
They're not talking about pigs, right?
They're not supposed to touch pigs.
Yeah, they weren't.
A horse is unclean. They weren't, but they ride horses. So I guess that's. Does
it say? It doesn't say they can't touch horses.
Well, I don't know. Horses are considered unclean.
Supposed to touch unclean animals, but maybe.
Well, horses are considered unclean. They're not considered.
So now that's a curious thing.
Yeah, it's a curious thing. You learn something new all the time, don't you? So they had to be redeemed with money, and the money went to the priest to support the priest. So they would have money to buy, I guess, I don't know, socks and shoes, sandals. Okay. All right. Any questions?
No, their sandals didn't wear out those 40
I know. I'm talking about down the road.
Oh.
Okay, I'm talking about years down the road when they get in the promised land. So any questions? We have a rebellion, people wanting to be top dog, and God sets him straight, shows him who is, but then he puts responsibilities on the leadership, and they hold them accountable. Okay, leaders have to be held accountable. We do have to be held accountable. But you better know what you're doing when you want to be a leader. You better be knowing what you're getting yourself into. Don't worry about man. You want to worry about God, because he is the one that raises up and takes down. He is the one that passes judgment. So, and his judgment is just, and it can be very severe. Okay, very severe. So, any questions on this, on the Torah readings?
Oh, yeah, let me see. I should see if they're
Questions?
sending any chat, or do they want to talk?
We'll go to Zoom here in a few minutes. Can we go to Zoom?
Of course. Do you want to talk to Aaron and Angela on the phone? See if they have any comments or questions?
No, I don't want to talk. I want to go to Zoom.
But they don't do Zoom. Why don't you talk?
Well, Ken is on Zoom. I can talk to him.
Talk to them and do Zoom. I'm not saying not do Zoom.
Okay, I can talk to
Because
them.
they can't do Zoom. How about you talk to them?
I can talk to them. We're going to Zoom here in a minute.
There.
Okay. They can't write either. They probably can't.
Well, it costs them money to text, remember?
No, I mean, they can't chat.
No, they can't chat. They can't sign in and chat for some reason.
What if they weren't listening?
Yeah, they were. They texted one text that
hello. Yeah, okay, you're listening, yeah. Any questions?
Or comments?
I'm coming alone. Still working out what they're going to do with her dad, but she'll be following in a couple weeks. Yeah, she'll be following. Yeah, she'll be following shortly after. So, be a couple weeks. I got to find a place for us to live, anyways. And meanwhile, I got to go fishing. So, anyways, yeah, I'll be kind of running around like a chicken with my head cut off. I don't know if that's kosher or not. Yeah. So I'll be back there. Yeah, just keep praying for a place for all of us to meet, and I gotta try to work that up, and so yeah, I'll try to reach a bunch of people once I get back there. So yeah, I'm supposed to stay quarantined. Oh, go ahead. What's that? Yeah. Everybody's on. So everybody's been listening. So even some more people, even other people, because we have more than what would be in the congregation. So I also I'm going to touch base with a couple from Alabama when I get back there. And there's a guy up, believe it or not, there is a rabbi from Ukraine that's Messianic, been since the 300s in his family. Jewish, they're actually Jewish. He lives up near Tok. And so he comes to the valley every 2 weeks. So I don't know. I'm going to get in touch with him and and so forth. I just got to make a lot of connections with a lot of things. He used to have a Messianic congregation in the valley. He moved out 5 years ago, and of course, I think it was all mostly Russian. And so, right. So, anyways, yeah. So, got a lot of work to do when I get back. Cheryl will follow in a couple weeks. Sasha wants to stay in Indiana. He's trying to get a electrical job. He's not. We're not sure about him. What's going to happen with him? But he wants to stay in Indiana and work in Indiana. So the only problem is that with the COVID, things just haven't picked up like they should with building, and so he's having a little trouble. We're having a little trouble finding him work as an electrician. He could go to a factory, but he doesn't want to work in a factory. So he could become, if he doesn't get work, he'll be coming back with Cheryl. So, but yeah. So anyways, yeah. So I'll be back there next Sunday night. So I've talked to them a little bit, and I'll gotta go see them when I get back. I got some stuff there, but I don't think we'll be meeting there again. Yeah, well, he's actually in the valley. He's in the valley right now doing heavy equipment school. Yeah, for 2 weeks. But he of course, less is less. And he so he has made connections up there to Copper Center. And he's got some Messianic people up there that it's kind of strange. There's so many Messianic people around that they're just like in their homes doing their own service and stuff. He's met some people up there that are Messianic that they don't know that there's other Messianics out there. If I could get all the Messianics, if we could get all the Messianics together, you probably have the largest church in the valley. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I just don't know how to get the word out. There's so many Messianics around, but then there's others that really want to hold to themselves too. But still, there's others out there that they don't know, I guess. So, right. But so I'm going to try to make connections. Pray. I'll see. I think now with the COVID, you got to think churches will be willing to share a building or something. So I'll try to make connections to do that. But do you know if all the big churches have opened up back there? Are they meeting on Sunday or? Yeah, that's what's kind of going on in different areas. They meet different times, different groups. They still tell the older people to stay home and all that stuff. Uh-huh. But how they're doing it. So, uh-huh. Right. Yeah. So, yeah, getting back into Alaska is going to be kind of a kind of a I gotta download a form, fill it all out before I even get on the airplane, and hand it to the people in Alaska. And if you get the COVID, if you get the COVID test, you still have to get retested. Yep. once you get there, if you get tested with the COVID in the airport, they want you to get retested from 7 to 14 days later. Yeah, it is. It is. And so, but I'm just gonna opt out. I'm just gonna tell them I'm gonna isolate for 14 days. That's what I'm gonna fill out for. I'm gonna have my so yeah. But yeah, no, no. What's that again? No, you can't. Well, it's really slowing down travel. I think, boy, Alaska, you might not see a whole lot of tourism this summer, will you? Right, 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 right. Yeah, I don't know if you will. And that's why they say, down lower 48, they can't make enough campers right now because people buying campers are buying RVs, and they're just kind of like staying in state. Well, some might go across state lines, but they're not going too far, and they're just going to campground to have fun, you know. Well, there's no water parks open. There's no so it isn't like they're going to go to. No, no, right. Yeah, there's definitely changing everything. And so, but yeah, okay. Well, I'll let you go. We'll be, yeah, we do one more Saturday, and then I'll see everybody up there next week. Hopefully, hopefully I can get things together and we can meet somewheres. We'll figure out something. Hey, if it's nice, we'll meet outdoors. Right, exactly.
Yeah. Why not?
We'll meet at Ken's. West Ken, if we can meet at his place.
Does he have a yard?
Yeah, Ken has a pretty big yard.
Oh, he does.
So we'll figure it out. We'll find out. All right.
I don't know where Ken is.
Yeah, we'll talk to you then. Okay. Yep. Bye. Okay.
I don't know where Ken is.
I bet he's overslept. Okay. End. We're going to end. Hopefully, everybody has a nice day, nice evening, and a blessed day tomorrow. Shabbat. It's not going to be Shabbat. Shalom, everyone.
Yep. Shavua Tov.
Shavua Tov.